Big Sight, New, Hank, Coco, Big Sight. Y'all know how this shit go, you know. All eyes on me.
Roll up in the club and shit.
All eyes on me. All eyes on me.
And now it's time for a...
Hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Teague's Take with George Teague. Alongside George and JT, I have, of course, as always, MND Tim. And we've got another great show for you here tonight. Another former teammate of George's from the University of Alabama. Another former national championship winner. Under my favorite head coach from Alabama, of course, the great Coach Gene Stallings. Can never say enough about Coach Stallings, George. But, George, I'll let you introduce your former teammate here and tell everybody who he is and what's going on.
Yes, sir. So, I got a lot of things to say about our guest today. And he's probably wondering, okay, where am I going to go with this?
Yeah,
stuff?
take it easy now.
Tread lightly.
But, when you have really good, cool teammates, ones that you've been close with, the things that this gentleman and I shared together was the life of living in a dorm as an athlete, which I don't think they do that anymore. And just the closeness and the bond that we had, which I honestly feel is a whole lot different than the way things are going. He's always been a leader. He's a tough guy. He was a funny guy. He was a well-rounded individual. And even when you hear about what he's doing now, you got to know this. And he is a prankster. And I'm going to start out with that first because I am happy to have Derrick Oden on to our show today. Yes, number 56. Played in the league as well with the Philadelphia Eagles. Got drafted the same year that I did. But so I gotta, we were talking a little bit before the show, talking about family and all the I guess more serious stuff. But I need to ask you about this right out the chute because I hadn't talked about Tim about this, and I don't think I've ever talked to JT about it, right? But I'm wondering if you feel bad, man, for scarring me for back in the day because I can remember or I can recall a time. See, we lived in a dorm, as I told you about this, and we had the community showers. I don't know if you guys even know what those were, but Derrick was known to find out when you were going in the shower, and somehow he would always end up with fireworks and bottle rockets and everything else and shooting those in. And I'm still scarred today about getting in the shower because I wonder about these bottle rockets is going to be coming around the corner. So you feel bad about any of that, Dio, or it's just,
Hey, you know what, man? Those were character-building fireworks. You know what, man? I wasn't even thinking about that. I know you're gonna bring that up, but I mean, you know how it was in the dorm, man. I mean, it was. So I grew up in a house with two sisters, and I couldn't do anything. Two girls, you can't do nothing. I had to go to the store and buy them tampons. That was torture for me. So when I got to university, man, I'm in a dorm with nothing but fellows, man, nothing but guys. So I mean, the creative juices to get the flowing, man. So I'd lay in bed trying to create new and different creative ways to torture people. I mean, if it wasn't fireworks in the bathroom, fireworks under the door, a cup of water on top of the door, I mean, just something, man. George, we were a good group of guys, good close group of guys, man, and it was all good, clean fun. But just a bunch of 19, 20-year-olds, trying to one up each other. It was a good time. A good time.
Well, as y'all notice, he still didn't apologize yet for.
I'm never gonna apologize.
He just gave you some more insight on what he was doing because, and I don't know how your dorm was, JT, but our doors in our dorm basically had about an inch worth of space underneath the door. So we had to sleep with because of guys like this. We had to put towels in front of our door just to make sure something didn't come flying through there. Why you try to sleep in the middle of the night? So,
I'll tell you one time that really freaked me out. I think it's the last time I did it was when I put one under Daryl Pickett's door, and the bottle rocket actually went into a pillow or something he had on the floor, and so the room started to catch on fire, and he was in there asleep.
Yeah.
So trying to wake him up at 6 a.m. was a little challenging, but yeah, that was I think one of the last times.
Well, God rest his soul. And so in our dorms, we didn't have the RAs. I think that's what the normal student calls them or whatever. But we had a coach there. And for some reason, that coach was never around. Anything seemed to be going down up in there. But the worst, and Tim, I don't know how it was when you went to college either, but because of the way our dorm was there as well, I don't know. I guess all the water was kind of connected to this. So if you were in the shower and someone flushed the toilet, then the water would get really like scorching hot on you. So there was this little thing of when you're in the shower, someone would happen to try to flush the toilet like over and over and over again.
I never did that, George.
No, we knew what it was every time it happened because that laugh right there, you would always hear it. But we had great times in the dorm.
Great times.
Just the friendships that we had, and to be, just talking to the guys, having you on. I talked to Prince this morning. Just always catching up with guys about stuff and telling his old stories like this that really don't have anything to do with the game. Just about being fellas, indoors.
Part of the camaraderie you guys develop when you play together like that. Man, that stuff lasts a lifetime. I mean, case in point right here.
Yes.
Yeah, you know how true that is, man. I think a lot people ask me, what is your fondest memory, playing at Alabama? My fondest memory was, times in practice, times in the dorm, in the dining hall, just hanging out with the fellas. I can remember those so vividly, relatively speaking to any game I played in. It's just those games were just kind of blips. It was kind of the end of the week blip, after you've had a full week of life, with your brothers and, and the family. And, it was a great time. It's a great time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So he has many talents as well. And I'm just give me a way to really talk about my son over here because he actually got a haircut. Thank you very much for doing that, JT. But Derrick Oden was our local barber too in the dorm, right? So he would be.
Yes.
I was bold. As much as I just told you about this other stuff, I was still bold enough to sit in a chair and let him cut my hair. I don't know what the hell it was.
So were you disappointed when you got up?
No, but my neck was hurting because.
Oh yeah, I told you the whole time.
Yeah, he didn't have what do you call it, a little horsehair brush or whatever to knock the hair off the back of your neck or whatever. So he used them big, crusty, rusty linebacker hands to knock it off. Somehow he had to get the hair off his neck, so it was always with his hands and not something else. So yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. So I still cut hair today. I don't have a dorm full of teammates' hair to cut, but my boys' hair I cut. Some of their friends will come over and I cut their hair. Some of the little kids, here around here in the neighborhood, I'll cut their hair. But for me, it's always been kind of a therapeutic thing, and I didn't realize it when I was doing it in college that it was something I enjoyed so much. You think about. It gave me time, that one-on-one time with the person that was sitting in the chair, so you kind of get to catch up, you get to talk, you get to understand what they're going through. There were some times, man, where, some cats are sitting in your chair and you find out things you wouldn't normally ever find out about them, about their family, their upbringing, things like that. Of course, I always like to make it fun. So I incorporated some jokes in there, and so some pranks, but, at the end of the day, man, it was therapeutic for me. And even now today, when I sit down and I cut some of these young dudes' hair, man, it's me catching up, just catching up with kind of what they're dealing with, kind of, what's going on in their world nowadays. Because it's so different from when we, were in college and played football, and then too, you, like I said, you never understand, what somebody's going through, until you sit down and have a conversation with them. And I got you in my chair for 45 minutes, an hour sometimes. I'm going to talk to you. You're going to talk to me. And some of these kids are like, they sit down, they know, Mr. Oden doesn't, he's going to talk to you. I'm going to make them talk. So it's a good deal, man. I still enjoy it to this day.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, because I really
Yeah.
know how you felt about that, but that's cool. And I do appreciate the haircuts you gave me back in the day. Helped me look good on my pictures and my
Was he responsible for the what, I don't know what y'all call it, the squared off?
The flat top, man. The flat top. The ball fade and the flat top on side. You got to get it perfect, man.
The kid in play, baby.
The kid in play is just too short, so the helmet wouldn't. It looked good. It looked good.
Yeah, Dio did all of that, but he was responsible for a lot of things. He was responsible for some big plays on the field. He just, this dude, I mean, as much as we're talking about off the field, we can talk about on the field too. The camaraderie that we had, and I've said this so many times about how we were so close off the field. And I know Dio, people are going to want to ask or hear about, that 92 year going into the national championship. I kind of tell my story. I felt like we were one of the closest teams ever, and that's why we were so good. But I guess maybe you can share with us a little bit about, not necessarily about that national championship game, but what was it like that year for you?
It was, of course it was my senior year, your senior year. I think just the progression over the previous couple of years, to that point, I think, going into the spring training the year before, it was just, there was something in the air. There was something about, the chemistry that we developed, and maybe a lot of it was due to the off the field stuff, but, I mean, I think that's where solid teams are built. Solid teams are built outside of what goes on the field. Then you bring it all together, because now there's a level of trust that I think we all, kind of bought into. There's accountability, there's dependability, and what that guy next to you is all about and what he's going to do and what he's going to bring. Outside of the fun and games, now there was a level of, we're going to work now. We played here, now we're going to work. And so every day we kind of took that same approach, and when you enjoy what you do, and I say this today, if you love what you do, you'll never go to work a day in your life. And so I don't think, a lot of people look at practice, and especially with kids in college, you look at practice, you look at workouts, you look at the lower gym sessions, you look at all that stuff as man, you just begrudgingly going there. It's like, man, we've got to go through this again. I'm just, I'm going to make it through it. But I think the mindset and the attitude that we had was, we're going here to get better, and I'm going to make sure that my brother gets as much out of this as I am, because I'm accountable to, to something that we've got kind of have brewing, and I think it was contagious. It was, when you have leadership, like, me, Prince, and George and George Wilson. I mean, we were the captains on that team. But when you have, the leaders, the guys that are up front, that are, and the expectations are high on you, when you go to work every day and you just roll your sleeves up and you go at it, and it doesn't matter what the venue is, it doesn't matter what the competition is, if it's reps in the weight room, if it's sprints, if it's whatever it is. And there was always a competitive thing going on. So, and nobody wanted to lose. I mean, hell, if it was eating a steak, I'm gonna eat all that steak. I'm gonna eat all the fat, all the gristle, everything. Nothing's gonna be there, So, and we were, it was funny how it kind of, hindsight's 2020, because I look back on those years, man, and it was funny how you didn't really plan on this development. You didn't really plan on this camaraderie. You didn't plan on this level of engagement by everybody, but it just kind of organically happened because of, I think, everything that we'd gone through in the previous years. You know, I remember the last game I lost in college was to Florida. And George, you know this. It was to Florida in the swamp, and we got embarrassed.
Yes,
we got embarrassed. And, you know, I can still remember to this day, you know, sitting in the locker room, just embarrassed. And I don't know and to me, it was like, you know, and I've been in a bunch of fist fights. I've never lost a fight. To me, it was like getting your butt whooped, you know, and you're sitting there with your bloody nose and your eyes swollen, you know, snot running out your nose, and you don't know what to do. You know, that's how it felt, you know, and so you take that feeling into the next season. You take that feeling into every game after that, and it's, you know, I don't ever want to experience that again. You know, I mean, even today, you know, certain things in life, you know, in my professional world, you know, I'm a goal setter. You know, I love to set a goal. I set something in sight that I want, and I go after it, and nothing's going to stop me. And I mean, and sometimes when I'm kind of feeling down, feeling low, I mean, that feeling comes back. I mean, and it lives in me somewhere, but, you know, it fuels me, you know, because I don't ever want to feel like that again. And when I say I felt like crap after that, because we got embarrassed. And I mean, George, you know, I mean, it was that one or two plays they kept running. We could not stop. They even tried run the same type of stuff in the championship game, in the SEC championship game the next year when we played them in Birmingham. Yep. They kept trying to run that same little shuttle pass. I mean, and we knew it was coming. You just couldn't stop it. I mean, the difference between us, you know, the previous year in the swamp, we just couldn't stop it. We knew it was coming. We couldn't stop it. You know, so yeah, it was man, you know, it was, I forget the original question, what I even started talking about, because that's kind of what I do. But
it is good because, you know, it's funny because you reminded me, you hit me hard with a couple things. One, that Florida game, and I don't talk about that one that much because I felt like that's the game that I always say that was one of my worst games ever. You know, I felt like I was being picked on or got tired of chasing that.
We all did.
That I couldn't get to, and it just felt like I'm the reason why we lost the game. I was missing Eric Rhett and couldn't tackle his butt or whatever it was. And, you know, shoot, I'm afraid to bring him on the podcast because he might be laughing at me.
And he would.
So I can reset for all the listeners and all the viewers, and not to bring it up, but that was the 35-0 game, correct?
Was it 35 or was it 37?
It don't matter. It was too many to not enough. And it was down there in the swamp. And that's when I started hating that gator chomp, the big thing. That was the last time that I ever wanted to, you know, see that or hear that ever again. And then the other thing that he brought up, and Tim and JT may not know what you're talking about at all, but you mentioned the words lower Jim. They've heard it on the show before with DD Foster. I think she knew what it was, but that was like torture.
That was torture. It was, I mean, I couldn't think of another word. It was torture. You know, it was one of those things that it was twice a week, but it was Tuesday and Thursday morning. But on Monday, you started trying to get your head right for Tuesday morning. And then once you got through it on Tuesday, you know, now you're already thinking about Thursday because you're like, man, you know, what's going to happen? And so, I mean, but I tell you what, I've never been through something that was so physically and mentally challenging that you had to really just, I mean, and mentally and physically prepare yourself for, you know, days before. And I mean, and you knew what you were going into. And it wasn't like it was going to be a surprise. You knew what you're getting into, but it was just one of those things that, you just try to, and I think it was designed because, you know, it made you figure out a way to succeed, to overcome, because there's a lot of obstacles, and, you know, through the course of it. And it wasn't just about the individual. You know, that's what was so great about it. It was about team. And if one person missed it, everybody missed it. And it wasn't just the night before. You're making sure you got your rest, but you hear somebody in the hall, man, you better get in bed, you better go sleep because we got next, tomorrow morning. So it was one of those things, I think it was brilliant. Whoever it was, Rich Wingo that used to run it, and I think LeBaron Carruthers at one time did it, but I think it was brilliant because it made us hold each other accountable, because the last thing you want to hear is a guy like Rocky Coburn saying once the last person crossed that line didn't make it.
Oh, I was about
gotta
to
do it over. And I can hear George.
I made it.
Dude, I can hear him in my sleep. I would have nightmares of him saying, "You didn't make it," and everybody's gonna make checking the times. And I think sometimes they would just make you miss it just for the hell of it. I think they ran that one too easy. We're gonna make them run it again. So
I was supposed to make the quarter in 75. I came across in 70, 68, 69.
Yes.
Oh, you lying.
I tell you what, they said the Bambino pizza was right across the street. You can smell the bread, and then from the Flowers Bread Company, you can smell all that good stuff, man. It's like that elephant was sitting on your back when you're trying to cross that line to make that time. But man, I tell you what, though, you look back at what we went through, and what was created out of all that chaos, man. You look and see what was created, and I can look back at some dudes, man, that really, really, played outside of themselves. Especially during times when we really needed, when you were counting on somebody. In our defense, man, our senior year, I can remember most vividly times standing in the huddle calling plays and looking around into the eyes of you, Shade, EC, Cope, London, Stick, just looking around in our eyes, man, and just, when it's situational football, when it's 3rd and 1, we got to get a stop. We got to go to the field. We've been on the play. We've been on the field for 20 plays. We tired. We're spent. We got to get the ball away. We got to get takeaway. Times like that, man. My mind would glance back to that. That lower gym time where guys laying there on the mat and you got to pick him up. Somebody wants to quit, wants to tap out, and you just got to you grab his arm and, man, let's just get this. It was those times, I think, that prepared us for those situations, those scenarios, in real time game environments, man, that got us through. And if we could have survived the lower gyms, hell, there wasn't nothing LSU, Auburn, Georgia, nobody could do to us that we couldn't overcome.
It's good stuff, brother. That's good stuff. And that's why we won the national championship, baby. If you want to sum it up on how we did it, we'll talk about the 11-man up defense and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it was exactly what he just said: just teamwork, camaraderie, and hating for people to score on us.
Yeah. Oh, man.
We will fight over that, I guess, man. Who gave up a touchdown? What are you doing, man? Golly.
And I know, you guys had a bunch of picks in the secondary, and you mentioned it earlier. These hands, I wasn't going to catch one myself, but I was going to get these paws on one. Yes. And you were the beneficiary plenty of times on my tip balls.
Hey, man, and there's nowhere in the stat book where it says tip interception.
Exactly.
It says INT. I'll take all those.
It should be an assist or something, Should be.
Yeah, that's what happens.
They do it in basketball.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're playing different sports and you're playing volleyball and soccer and all the rest. Of it. Yeah, I don't know. You probably got a lot of tackles assisted too. So
I was in the mix most of the time.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, man, Tim, you got anything for my man? I know you're sitting there thinking about something.
I just really wanted to know what it was like to play for Rich Kotite, who wasn't really regarded as a great head coach anywhere he ever went. Did you ever get playing for him? Like maybe he didn't really know what he was doing.
I'm 50 years old. You know, in my 50 years on this planet, I've come to learn that you don't burn any bridges.
Of course.
You know, I have a lot of respect for Rich Kotite. He drafted me.
Mhm.
You know, Philly was one of the toughest places to play. You know, I guess, from my experience, because my first 2 years in Philly, we didn't make the playoffs. And you hear about the Boo Birds coming out. I mean, yeah, it was, stadiums down in South Philly, a bunch of just Italian, and they love their Eagles. They love their Eagle football. The Eagles, the Phillies, the Sixers were garbage at the time. But to be there and not win many games, it wasn't a good time. It wasn't a good time. And Rich took a lot of the heat for that. We all took a lot of heat for it. I mean, we'd come out of practice, man, and I mean, our tires would be sliced. There would be, our windows broken out, spray paint loser on our cars and stuff. And, it wasn't the best environment, and coming from Alabama where, the expectation was, was to win. It really was a difficult fit for me because, I mean, and George, this, I mean, there's a lot of, in the league, there's a lot of, I guess, for the sake of not having a better word, prima donnas, and, a lot of guys are really playing for themselves, and it's about, the paycheck on Monday. It's about, the incentives in the contract. It's a lot of individualism. And I'm a guy coming from a program where it was about, the team. It was about, what we can contribute to the success of the team. And it just wasn't really built like that. Not to say that Rich, didn't have the idea of trying to create that environment, but, the NFL is so different from college. It's so different from college, and I think, very few teams ever experience, that holistic team atmosphere, at that level. And I know there's some teams. I mean, I think about the Buccaneers this year, winning and how they won, but those teams are put together. It's like a Lego set. You've got a red Lego, you got a green Lego, and you go get one from this place and that place, and you put them together and you see if it makes sense. I think the progression of what we had in college, was over the period of 3 or 4 years. Just guys, growing together. But playing in Philly and playing with Rich, great guy. I guess not great enough because he was only there for 2 years, when I was there. Jeff Lurie bought the team, and then Ray Rhodes came in and we made the playoffs that year for the first time, and it was sweet. We actually beat Dallas. Were you in Dallas? Were you in Dallas that year when you guys came to Philly? And it was like 20 below. We beat you guys 21-14. I don't know if you were there. Were you there? I can't remember.
I think that might have been the year that I broke my foot, actually.
It was cold as crap.
I didn't like playing up there. That field was terrible. The fans were bad.
It was.
And I think I played. I don't know. I could have been with Green Bay. I think I might have come up there with Green Bay too.
And Derrick, you came into the league too. Was it 93? Was your rookie season?
Yeah, 93.
So you're coming into the Eagles in a year where the division has won 2 Super Bowls in a row with the Giants and Redskins, and the Cowboys are about to rattle off a couple more. And I mean, that was a tough division to be in, and especially in Philly there in the early 90s. I mean, I can't even imagine the pressure from the fans and media up there for you guys to match wits with the other 3 teams. That had to be rough.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, Philadelphia was predominantly Eagles fans, but there were, you had a lot of Giants fans there. You had some Redskins fans there, some Jets fans too. And, everything is in such close proximity. Giants Stadium, is an hour and a half away. The Jets play there. Then you've got DC, 2 hours away. I mean, it was a tough time. It was a tough time, but it was a tough conference.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a dominant conference at the time. So, and when you don't make the playoffs, as part of that conference, I mean, you looked at as the redhead stepchild, and the team is just not getting it done. So yeah, it was tough. I mean, because of pressure, there was so much pressure, and I think a lot of respect for Rich Kotite, but I just wasn't getting it done,
Yeah.
Wasn't getting it done.
I just bring that up because of the issues the Cowboys went through last year, and it coming out that the players didn't respect the defensive coaches. They were quoted as the saying off the record, oh, they don't know what they're doing, and that's got to be a tough situation as a pro player. You're supposed to be respecting these guys and listening to these guys, and that went on here last season. Whether it was overblown or not, I do honestly believe it happened to a certain extent there in the locker room. Because players were cut and things got better, and so. I don't know, just that whole dynamic in a pro. I mean, obviously, I've never played in the NFL, but that whole dynamic in a locker room with grown men, adhering to other grown men's instructions and coaching, and that whole dynamic has always fascinated me.
I tell you what, chemistry is always, I think it's the telltale around how well a team, will do or not. Especially when you have a locker room full of personalities. And I see this more so in the NFL. You've got guys who, may have come from different programs, and, they were a free agent and they came in, now they're there. And you've got, all these mixes of different mindsets and personalities. It's hard to blend that, I think the challenge for, most coaches on that level is just trying to mesh everything together. Trying to mesh everything together, everybody together, and I think there's a lot of, it's not like in college where the head coach is the guy. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The head coach is the guy. When you go into the league, the quarterback might be the guy, or it might be that receiver, or it might be that running back, so, and I think everybody's trying to please, the man, and the man is not the head coach. And I mean, I can say that, when you have a fire that starts within, it burns faster than an external fire. I mean, it really does, and it creates a lot of chaos. And if you're trying to manage that fire, I mean, you just really can't, because there's something inside that's the cause, but it's a very intentional burn. It's a very erratic burn, and it's hard to manage. It's hard to get under control.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, man, I do thank you for everything and your candidness and being, very open about everything, laughing with us a little bit as well. But why don't you tell everybody what you got going on now? What are you doing? Life after football. What is that deal?
Well, first and foremost, man, I'm probably most proud of my kids. I mean, you as well. You're a father. I mean, you've raised beautiful kids, man, and that's the hardest thing I think that I think I've had to deal with, and one of the most challenging things, and one of the things I'm most proud of is just, when those kids walk, from under that roof, and they're self-sufficient, they have goals, they have ambitions. My oldest daughter just graduated from UAB in December. She's hopefully going to PA school. She can get in. I've got my youngest daughter plays volleyball at LaGrange College, and she's like number 5 in blocks. I mean, she's pretty aggressive. So just being a father, man. Raising kids. Trying to navigate this world of social media and social engagement and just. I mean, I'm not big on, Facebook or Instagram and nothing like that. But, I just, there's a lot of things, man, if we don't protect the kids from, they're, they can really, really succumb to some really bad stuff. But professionally outside of that, man, I've been in pharmaceuticals for about 22 years. I've been with the company I'm with now for the past 4 years in rare disease. I really enjoy it. I've got a large territory, so I cover 4 states: Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, and Mississippi. And it's probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. I get to interact with physicians and advocate on the behalf of patients with ultra rare disease. And just try to shine a light, where there really is not much light for them. But it's one of those things, man, where I can look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day and kind of gauge, if I move the needle or not. And like in football, man, you come home at the end of the day and you had a good practice or bad practice, where you stand, relative to where it is you're trying to be. So this is sales. I think we're all natural born salespeople. I think that's kind of why I gravitated to this, to this life after football. But every day I go out there, I want to win. It's strangely competitive, like football in a sense for me. But it is as rewarding at the same time too, man. And I've won the top award with my company, the previous company, 6 times, and then I was #1 rep in the company last year with this company. So, and the year before that, I was tied for the first place. So, man, every day I'm trying to win, man. I'm trying to win. It's just it's a part of us, and it's a good thing.
Congratulations on that. And you gave me a vision right there. I forget the name of the little guy. Y'all ever seen the linebacker, the locker room linebacker, the big
Terry Tate?
Terry Tate. Yeah.
Hey, yes,
Terry Tate's the best.
Terry Tate.
How did I make you think of Terry Tate? Open linebacker, man.
You see you run around the office,
funny,
man.
that's
Just
funny.
telling them, hey, what are you doing with that? Oh, man. So, Dio, that's the last thing, because I know we were taking up more time than I said I would be taking with you. But
You're good.
I really appreciate it. But so I've already had requests, people hitting up saying, okay, how do I get him on my podcast? How do I get him to sign some autographs? How do I do something? Is there a way for people to get a hold of you if they need to talk to you? Do you got, I know you said you're not very big on the social media, but do you pay attention to it or what? How do people get on you?
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say I don't really understand Twitter because I hadn't tried to. Just because I really haven't really tried to. I'm not big on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. But you got my email address. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, I'm good with that.
Okay, I will do that. I'll share that. I've already got, and I want to do it with trusted individuals or people that have actually been.
Oh yeah, sure.
That I like. And
That just means he won't give it to me.
I think you got it already, I'm sure. So, but anyway, man, anything else y'all got for Dio before we let him go and get back to his family? JT, anything?
Yeah, I got a question because I forgot. I hadn't watched the documentary recently, but and I apologize if this sounds accusatory. But were you the one who jumped off sides in the national championship game? Or was that somebody else?
No, that was number 55. He was notorious for jumping off sides. Antonio London, if you're watching.
Okay. It was Antonio London. Okay.
That calls your daddy one of the greatest plays of all time.
Yeah.
Because he jumped off side. You trying to put that on me, JT? Come on,
I couldn't remember. I wasn't born.
Come on,
We didn't talk about that.
Come on.
The bus, Dio.
No, that was Stick. Stick.
I gotta get
notorious for jumping off sides.
I'm afraid to ask him to get on because
yeah, you get him on and ask him about that and ask him what was going through his mind. How bad he felt afterwards. I'd like to watch that one.
You know if he's still in clothes? Do you talk to him? Do you know if he's?
I haven't seen him in a while. Last time I saw him was he's in Birmingham. He has a he's got a what's it called? I think he does it's kind of a jack of all trade company. He does security, does maintenance, does some other things. It may have blossomed into something else too. I mean, Stick, man, he's got his nose in some of everything, but he was doing pretty good last time I talked to him.
Yeah, he's been always done well, so that's good. I'll have to reach out to him. I'm gonna follow up with you later offline if you don't mind. I'm gonna hit you up because want to invite you to something.
Okay.
But I'll text you a little bit later on. After we
Probably a cookout.
There you go. Did you see my lobster and my salmon?
I did.
Are you cooking? Can you cook?
Grill. I don't cook.
Oh, okay.
I can't work with the oven and oven like that. But
I tell you what,
lobster.
I tell you what, man. This whole COVID stuff, man. I have so basically I've been working from home since last February. I hadn't been able to get out much and interact because a lot of the hospitals I called on, they're shut down, only limited access. So I mean, I've tried to, I have had to figure out a way to reinvent myself. But you're talking about like cooking, man. Me and my wife, we'll watch these Food Network shows and just sit down and plan out of a menu. And I mean, we really jump into it, man. I tell you what, my kids do not like to eat out anymore because they're begging me and screaming for me to cook at home. I've gotten pretty good too. I've been dealing. I've talked to Mac. Mac is he's a pretty good chef in and of itself. And so I bought some. He's partnered with. Happy to Meet You, I think the name of the company is. Get some really good quality steaks and chicken and stuff like that.
Mac?
Mac.
Yeah,
He's got his own seasoning pack too, his own flavor pack, man. He's got some pretty good stuff.
And I see his little stuff all the time over there. He knows
man.
how to cook.
Oh yeah,
but he knows how to cook.
I tell you what, man, I watch some of his stuff, man. It makes me hungry.
Yes,
he inspires me.
He
inspired me.
Well, I think he promised us some stuff too, that and some wine. We won't talk about who he's been sponsored by with his wine bottle.
Oh, he's on wine now?
He has a good sponsorship.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Do y'all remember? Does someone else want to say what the name of his sponsorship is?
Wasn't it like weed or some?
Yeah,
cannabis.
He was like, he said, "I'm gonna send you some weed," and we said, "What?" That's the brand name.
I tell you what, that's not a good brand for him, man. with the combination of what he's doing.
Well, when you decide to get back on Twitter or Instagram, you'll see because he's kind of posted. I saw he had some. It's weird to even talk about it. I'm giving him crap for about it, but he had on. He was at the golf course and he had some videos of him hitting, golf, and he had his golf club. So he took a picture of his golf club, the bag, and in between the golf heads, he had a big can of weed. So right now, I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but whatever.
Now, hey, I am on LinkedIn, so I, every now and then I'll like some of his stuff and share some stuff he's kind of involved with. So I'll definitely reach out to him and find out more about that. Not that I want to indulge in that. But,
if you're out there in that little city you're in, you might need to be doing something in your spare time. So.
No,
how far are you from Birmingham? Then how far is it from Birmingham?
It's only about an hour, less than an hour from Birmingham. I'm like I said, my sales territory, man. I'm in Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi. So I'm really never. I don't spend a whole lot of time at home. And my wife, she travels with me when I travel. So we hit the road, and we're gone for a week, and it's we're never here. There's not a whole lot here in this town, but so when we get out, it's out in another city.
There it is. Derrick Oden, the owner of cows and horses and whatever else.
I don't have any cows or horses. Not like that. I live in a subdivision. No cows and no horses. But I can smell the chickens not far from here.
It's hard to miss that.
Oh yeah. If you ever smell a chicken house, you know what it smells like.
Hey man, I really appreciate it, man. I know there's other things we wanted to dive into, but we got a lot of stuff we got to cover. I think we could have talked a whole lot of more Alabama football and maybe even some more Eagles stuff to really see if you're a Eagles fly singer on Sundays or
no.
All right. But thank you for your time, man. We're going to go ahead and let you get off, we do thank you. Tim, you got anything else for him before we let him go?
No, man, just it's been a pleasure. You kept you longer than we keep most people. Shows you how much we enjoy talking to you and hearing your stories for sure.
That's because I like to talk a lot. I'm in sales. That's all I do is talk.
He's in sales, George. I can tell he's in sales.
He does fine. He does good. It was good.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't even think about it till we got to talking about the locker room stuff. And he hadn't admitted it yet, but we'll end it on this. But I know he was the one that used to put those milk cartons on our door. So when you open the door up, oh, it's him. I can tell. Anyway, he laughing because he would pour that milk into your rug and then it would rot and then it would stink.
It wasn't just milk in those trash cans, man. It was...
I didn't want to say the other stuff. I wouldn't put you out there that far, but the imagination. So let's say it stank very well. It stank very well.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you guys having me, man. And, it was a pleasure catching up with you. JT, good luck to you, young man.
Thank you.
You know, I know you're doing your family proud, man. And good luck on being a father, man. Just, be there as much as you can. It'll fly by. It'll fly by.
Too fast.
Yes.
All right.
Very good.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Y'all take it easy.
The great Derrick Oden. Very, very nice. And this is Teague's Take. We'll be back with the second half of the show right after this.
For your personal and commercial needs. Websites built, repaired, secured, maintained, and found. Brent Thomas and ProfoundSites.com provide e-commerce development, website development, online marketing, web, mobile, and e-commerce consulting. With over 10 years experience, Profound Sites is responsible for creating GeorgeTeague.com, where you can hear Teague's Take with George Teague every week. Brent Thomas and Profound Sites can take you through the entire pain-free process of building your new website. From initial discussion to planning, design, to coding, and making your site live and discoverable on the internet. Contact Brent Thomas at ProfoundSites.com or email him at brent@ProfoundSites.com.
Hey, sports and sports memorabilia fans, this is IndyCar Tim. I want to talk to you about our new friend Chris Gordon over at the Cowboy House, cowboyhousesports.com on the web. Now, Chris is super passionate about all sports, and that's why the Cowboy House is so much more than just a Dallas Cowboys sports memorabilia store. He's got unique game-used memorabilia and rare, hard-to-find autographs for teams across the globe. Everything from the NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, golf, UFC, soccer, Olympics, even from Hollywood and the political sector. And his store isn't just a fancy mall store. It's more of a man cave that he likes to share with his friends and customers. Come on into the store at 209 South Shady Shores Drive, Suite 200 in Lake Dallas, and you can walk on the Texas Stadium end zone turf. You can sit in a chair from Yankee Stadium or Texas Rangers Globe Life Park. Check out hundreds of autographed jerseys from hundreds of teams. Check out thousands of photos signed with certificates of authenticity. He's also got custom framing for all of your sports memorabilia items. Chris Gordon over at cowboyhousesports.com. 214-551-5978. Thank you, Cowboy House.
Need a one-stop shop for Cowboys news happening over at the Star in Frisco? Click on over to cowboyssi.com, featuring Mike Fisher with 30 years experience covering America's team. It's the most popular of all Sports Illustrated sites and home to the Cowboys Blitzcast podcast. Cowboyssi.com is the place to get inside your Cowboys. With such a talented team of writers and reporters over there, you'll always know the latest about personnel and roster moves, salary cap issues, and draft class status. Click on over to cowboyssi.com and get the inside scoop on America's team.
3R Sports Graphics. Hello, everybody. You've probably seen the graphics that are out on social media every week that announce the guest for Teague's Take for that week, as well as their credentials listed there on the graphic as well. Those come from our good friend Tyler Sanders over at 3R Sports Graphics. Now, he only works for schools, so we need to mention that. Some of his proud schools are Liberty Christian, Parish Episcopal, Legacy Christian, and Fort Worth Christian. These are custom graphics for your school's athletic department. Hire Tyler Sanders and 3R Sports Graphics, and you will work one-on-one with a graphic designer. You will get final score graphics the night of the game, unlimited graphics with a 1-year contract, and you can fulfill the sports information director role of a school, but for a fraction of the cost. And he will handle this for you every week. He puts it out on social media for you as well. He handles that. Give Tyler Sanders a call with 3R Sports Graphics, 713-933-9767, or you can shoot him an email, tsanders2405@gmail.com. Tyler Sanders, 3R Sports Graphics, on Twitter at 3R Sports and the number 1. And check out his Twitter feed. He's got all of the examples. You can scroll through his feed and look at all of the graphics as he's done for everybody. Tyler Sanders, 3R Sports Graphics. Give him a call now. Thank you, Tyler. Welcome back, everybody, to Teague's Take with George Teague alongside George and JT. I'm IndyCar Tim, and we are starting the second half of the show. Way overtime, by the way, George. I don't know if I was supposed to cue you there or if we were just having a good time, but
we're just having a good time, man. You know, things like that happen. That's the great thing about podcasts, man. I mean, you just roll with it, and we ain't stuck on a timeline. And
there ain't no clock.
Nope. We try to do right by everyone and keep them entertained, but that was really good. Derrick Oden's really good. It was. I got carried away with the stories. Yeah. I apologize for that myself, but
they were good.
Need to be heard because we had a lot of fun. You know, with
him. Well, then let's move it along and get right into some of this.
America's favorite segment, Money Matters with JT.
JT.
Yeah, so this week just wanted to give a little bit of the news since it wasn't on our typical run sheet this week that Drew Brees has retired. I guess we kind of saw the writing on the wall February 5th when he actually reduced his salary to take the league minimum from $25 million salary to like something just north of $1 million. And I guess we should have seen this coming as the Saints were grossly over the cap, especially with the cap lowering this year. So Drew Brees has retired as of Sunday, March 14th. And the Saints aren't a better team for it, but at least they can continue to compete legally under the cap this year with Drew Brees' retirement and the bevy of other players that they have released. And then in the same vein, Dak Prescott is finally signed as a Dallas Cowboy. He signed a 4-year, $160 million contract, $66 million in a signing bonus, $95 million guaranteed at signing with a total guarantee of $126 million. Some things of note in his contract is that it's technically a 6-year contract with the last 2 years being voidable for cap reasons. He has a no tag clause, so he will not be tagged if he somehow becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2025. He has a no trade clause, and the last year of his contract, 2026, will be void to allow 2022 to be restructured if need be. So that brings his average salary to about $40 million. So I guess all the haters can scream and pull their hair out and do all the other things since they were laughing at him for wanting more than $30 million. He got what he wanted, and he's got $95 million guaranteed through injury right now. So right. I think Dak and his agent did very well here in order to get his money, secure his future, and even after an injury like he just had.
I think that's an understatement to say that they did well. I mean, we talked about it earlier on this program that he had the leverage. He had the he was in the right position at the right time. Of course, we don't hate that he was hurt and all that kind of stuff, but just for the situation that he was in, he had what he needed to be to negotiate this type of contract. I do think it was a little bit. I think the bonus money and all that kind of stuff threw me for a little bit, but I guess when you're getting into finance and trying to structure it, perhaps that's the best for the Cowboys as well. I don't know, Tim.
Yeah, so I've got three thoughts on this. Number one, the contract is structured very much the way they structured Zeke's contract with the avoidable years at the end of it. And because, Zeke's not going to finish the last 2 years of he's going to be here through 2022. And at that point, the cap hit to cut him goes down to only $6 million. Before they cut him before that, it's in the 20 millions. And unless he's just got another breakout season this year, next year, unless they can trade him, will be his last year. So to me, this is I look at it now, yes, Dak got what he wanted and Todd France gave him what he wanted. But to me, this is a very Cowboys team friendly deal. This is very much the same contract they were going to give him 2 years ago, 1 year ago. It's the same. It's a little bit more money, but the language is very much the same. They have an out if they need it. The other thing that strikes me odd about this is that either they know something that nobody else knows about his recovery process of his injury, and they're just certain beyond the shadow of a doubt that ankle is 100% better, or there is language somewhere in there, much like they did Gerald McCoy, where if there is a specific ankle injury to that previous injury, then there's something fishy with the contract where there's money to not be paid. Because if the Cowboys don't know for beyond the shadow of a doubt that ankle is 100% healed come April, dude, this has to be the stupidest contract I've ever heard. So there's no way they would have done that without having some information the rest of us don't know about his recovery.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of insight on that. And this is kind of putting my business out in the street, I guess. But, and I don't know if they're using the same taxes or whatnot, but when I first came to the Cowboys off of a back injury, I had the herniated disc. And so I actually signed a contract, but there was a addendum in there with if something happens to your back, not necessarily related to getting hit or whatnot. So here's your one contract, but if this comes out, then this is what we're actually going to pay you. I would imagine something is probably in there somewhere where they have if you come out here and, start running around and it swells up on you.
You would think so. Yeah.
They probably got it out. That's what I think. But I don't know that. I have no knowledge of that. I only have it from my experience of actually signing a multi-year deal with the Cowboys off of an injury and having a clause in there just in case, it didn't work out like the doctor said.
Cool. And it looks very much like Jameis Winston, by the way, will be the starter in New Orleans next year. Mm-hmm. I don't know y'all's thoughts on that. They gave Taysom Hill this awesome looking contract with literally every year voidable. So it's really not what it seems. And then, of course, Ryan Fitzpatrick signs with Washington football team. Yep. And it looks like Andy Dalton's going to Chicago.
How many years I know we're getting first, I'll say, I don't know that Jameis Winston's the answer for the.
Oh, he's not. No, there's no way.
How many years has Fitzmagic been in the league? I know he's been on 9 teams. How long is it? How long has he been in the
15 or 16, right?
He's been in the league that long. Oh my God.
I say, has he been in that long? I mean, just 9 teams just sounds like a lot.
He was drafted in the 7th round in 2005.
All right, so this will be his 16th season.
Yeah.
That is a pretty good. How do you? I can't imagine being traded or cut or free agent or whatever that many times. Do people really get that many tries at a team? That you want to be somewhere a couple years.
He doesn't have the Fitzmagic nickname for nothing. Everywhere.
I was gonna say, it's not like he's not been bad anywhere. Right. It's just for some reason everybody just looks at Fitz and be like, we could probably do a little bit better.
He can get us through. So he's known for that. Hey, let's bring him in for a year or two till we get the quarterback that we want.
And he's not expensive.
How much money? I know. Maybe I got to go back and look at these contracts and see how much money.
I'm gonna see. Spot Track usually does a pretty good job of telling you how much money a player has made, at least over their contract.
He's a quarterback. He's played almost 2 decades. He's got to have, and he's won some games. You got to have a price on that. Man, I'm gonna come to you. What was the contract that he made this year that he just signed with the Washington football team?
1 year, $10 million.
Yeah.
10 million. Come on, man. I mean, come
You know,
on.
for 30, whatever he is, 36, 37 years old, man, the guy's still pretty mobile. You know, he's not just a statue back there, and that's what makes him such a, desirable backup, I guess, for somebody. You know, he's not going to be you don't think your starter, but look what he did in Miami. He wasn't supposed to be the starter in Miami. Tua was.
10 million.
It's
Back
I wanted
up.
him last year. I would love
He's not the backup. He's not the backup in
no, not in Washington. No.
Okay.
In Miami. But in Miami, he was supposed to back up Tua. Or at least start until Tua could get legs underneath him. And and I'm just curious. I haven't seen the story of Dalton. Is Dalton supposed to be? He's not going to be the starter in Chicago, right? Like they're going with
he's got to be, right? I mean,
or he would have just stayed here, probably. You would think. I mean,
yeah.
They had to have offered him at least a shot at the starting job, or he would have just stayed here.
Well, I don't even know what does that money look like, too. I don't know.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, over at least what they say his salary was over the course of 16 seasons. Not as much as you'd think. Pretty cheap quarterback. They've got him totaled at $33.8 million.
That can't be
For
right.
15 years, and he's going to make 10 this year.
Yeah, that can't be
Yeah,
right.
so he's got 33
$20 million over
salaries added up from 2005 to 2020. 33.8, and then his signing bonuses are another 25 million, and roster bonuses 6 million. So, I mean,
He might
they're
have been
estimating his total
negotiating
earnings
more.
at
Does he have an
71 and a
agent?
half.
Does he have an agent? There's no way.
His agent is the same agency as Dak and Andrew Brees, at least. I know they're both represented by CAA.
Well, Dak's not anymore.
And I should.
Oh, right.
Todd France broke off, and he's not with CAA anymore.
That was mean to say that.
Last year, mid-season last
year. One of the guys that wants to play, and if he can make some.
Well, man, hey,
$1 million or $2 million, I would be doing it too. I probably would jump around from team to team for.
If you don't mind seeing the countryside and living in a different city every couple of years, then go for it.
Stay out there. I mean, if you're looking at it, I don't know what his average per game is. So JT, make sure you check those stats later. How many games he actually plays per season over those 15.
Yeah, I was actually trying to see what Josh McCown. Oh my God, I didn't realize Josh McCown was that old.
Yeah, dude, he's been around forever.
What is that old to you?
He's as old as Tom Brady is.
You about to make me and Tim feel old over here. Oh gosh, I didn't know he was that old. He's 32 years old.
No, he's almost 42.
What are you doing, man?
I just assumed Josh McCown was like Aaron Rodgers' age, not Tom Brady's age.
Well, okay, well that's good stuff. And I'll go ahead and say I'm glad Dak is signed. I'm glad it worked out. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for us. I'm happy for the Cowboys that it got done. I'm looking forward to it. And,
Hello, Super Bowl.
What?
Hello, Super Bowl.
Is that, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or if you're being for real.
He'll get one while he's here under this contract. Dak Prescott will win a Super Bowl for the Cowboys under this current contract.
Well, okay. So
of course, remember though, this is coming from a guy that said Daniel Jones would win a Super Bowl for the Giants under his current contract.
Yeah, I know, but so you're bringing me into where we need to go next anyway, right? What do the Cowboys got to do now, next, to actually be contenders for a Super Bowl? We got the quarterback. That was the biggest thing. So what is this free agency period going to look like? What do they need to go? What is the position that they need to be targeting in free agency, if any? JT, you go.
I guess it depends on what their draft strategy is for me. Because they need help at defensive back. I think that is a high priority. They cannot continue to do what they've been doing.
Cheeto.
And Cheeto's gone.
Cheeto's gone.
Darian Thompson needs to be gone.
Yep.
And with Dan Quinn now, like they need help. So if they want something to be, fixed and just hold us over for right now, I guess they need to ring, I guess, Janoris Jenkins' phone and just say, hey, can you come help us out for a year? Because you can't be worse than what we got.
Would you like to take that call, George? Hey, we don't think you're worse than what we have. Here's $5 million.
Well, I can tell you that. That'll be another conversation. So, Tim, he's saying defensive back. Probably, I know, based upon what the draft strategy is that we don't know.
Yep.
But it sounds like JT would say that we need to go after a defensive back.
Well, I'll take that back. I would say, personally, what I would do is I would be looking at our front. I'd be looking at the defensive line to try to patch together in free agency and go draft a DB. That would be what I would want to do.
Okay. All right. That's fair. You agree with that, Tim?
So my draft philosophy for the Cowboys right now, and even if you do go get help in free agency for the offensive line, is you have to draft the absolute best player, the highest player on your board. I don't care what position he is at. You go draft him, and then you go fill holes with the rest of the draft. And if you don't need this guy at this position, or before the draft is over, you trade him for more draft picks.
Trade him. So you're saying if somehow something happens like it did last year, some wide receiver slides on down and he just sitting there because you had him graded real high, we need to go ahead and get him and then try to maneuver him.
You get another compensatory pick today because Cheeto left. They got 5 compensatory picks now this year, the most of any team in the league. Now with the Cheeto pick, but. And hey, your best player on your board might be Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater. If those are, there's your offensive line help right there. It may be Patrick Surtain. It could be Caleb Farley. Could be J.C. Horn. Any of those guys. If that's your best player on your list and it's available, well, then go get him and then take 2 birds with 1 stone. But
so let me ask you this then: do you think would that be your philosophy all the way through the draft? That you got these guys ranked and if they're there?
I would say the first 2 rounds.
Based upon rankings and not
need. First 2 rounds, I would do that. By the time you get to the 3rd round, you can start drafting for position. But hopefully by then, though, you've got enough to fill holes.
Like that's what he's done, that we've done, that what Jerry and the organization has done.
Like they've never done that.
So you think they're trying to fill holes? I don't know that I can agree and say that they're trying to.
No. Because if they were trying to fill holes, then the defense wouldn't have been as bad as it was.
Right.
Oh, that's where I'm going. So and I see Craig saying that, hey, we need a safety and a D tackle. Yes, but the question is, which one do you do first, or what do you attack right now? Because for me, and when we're talking on here, I've said this for some time. I still think we need a linebacker as well. I think we need something in all 3 parts of that.
I agree.
Defense, the front, the middle.
If we could go get like a corner in the first round and either an offensive tackle or defensive tackle in the 2nd round and somehow pick up somebody like, I don't know, Dylan Moses in the 3rd round, I'd be a happy camper.
Okay. So what do you think? So what are you saying, Fred? So then you would try to go find a defensive tackle or a defensive lineman now in free agency? There's so much talk about them trying to find a DB right now. What's the guy's name from the Falcons that everybody's putting the rumors out that he's
Eric Metcalf.
Say what?
Eric Metcalf. He's not playing anymore.
No, but if the starting safety for the Falcons that Dan Quinn is apparently trying to get to Wolverine, the guy that Zeke pummeled on the goal line.
Oh yeah.
Neil.
Oh shoot!
I can't place his name right now.
Devon is. I don't know. I should have wrote it down earlier, but anyway, you can see everybody's.
Yeah, I think it's Keanu Neal.
It could be, but anyway, it's the guy that there's the thin safety. He's about 170 pounds, 175 pounds.
Hit you though.
It's coming down to hit you, yes, but
So the
that's why
Cowboys are interested in DeMonte Cassie.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
DeMonte Cassie. I'm saying that he's, I don't know. He's got some experience, obviously, even against us, and he probably knows what Dan Quinn is trying to install and put in. So I know when you want to go get your guys, but I don't know, man. It's just a lot out there, and I'm not going to try to pretend like I know what their draft strategy is, and that would be important. But I know there's a lot of things that we need to fit and try to get. And if we're that Tim, you scare me with that taking the top ranked guys or the way that
that's what I think that's what they should do. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but I think that's what they should do because you pick Kyle Pitts is there at 10. He's your highest. I'd be hard pressed to trade him away. I mean, he's going to be a generational tight end. You almost have to keep him.
So let me change. Why do you think we can't do like what the Patriots just did? What is wrong with the strategy that they have here? Hey, we got some issues. We got a lot of them. We're going to go address all of them right now.
I feel like
5, 6 people on the first day before we even hit. Hey, we covering this up. Then we'll do what we got to do in the draft. What's so hard about that? Why can't we do that?
Because I don't think that's how the Joneses think, and I don't know if they have that ability in their brain to think like that and draft like that. I mean, honestly, I wish they did. I mean, that's how everybody should be doing it, right? Like the Patriots do it.
I don't know. Right? Those kind of things that work.
Everybody should be doing it, but
I mean, they didn't mess around. They just went on and opened up the checkbook and said, "Let's go, man. Figure it out."
I feel like the front office for the Cowboys don't actually draft on fit. They either like a CD Lamb, which was fine. It ended up being a nice pick. I wasn't mad at that one, but they draft one of two ways. Either they really just like the guy as a person and they somehow end up on the team, or he was just high on the board and they were like, well, we don't actually need him, but hey, but then they don't ever, but then they don't ever actually do anything.
They don't trade him or whatever.
Like they don't need him, but they're not going to get rid of him because they drafted him. So they're going to say, well, we got to find a way to make it work. And then it may not work out. And then
when's the last time we saw that? When is the last time that happened where we've seen someone picked and traded during the draft? When's the last time something like this is really
the Cowboys?
No, just in general in the draft. They've chosen a player and then turned around and traded them during the draft for something or somebody.
Oh, I feel like it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
this has been recent.
I'm thinking it wasn't TJ Watt. It was no, Bosa tried and they didn't.
Right.
I'm just saying because when we're talking about these hypotheticals, but it don't seem like it's not happening very much, right? And saying, hey, we're going to take the best guy and then we're going to try to unload him later for somebody or something. I mean, I don't know. I just think that's, I don't know, maybe I got my players hat on too. That's kind of crappy that you're going to draft me and you don't want me. Kind of thing. What are we doing? Just let me slide. I guess I'm going to get happy on television, and then you're going to call me back and be like, what is that phone call like? Well,
yeah, we're about to draft you, but before you celebrate,
just keep on, put the hat on, put the jersey on, take your pictures, but about the third round,
don't go rent an apartment right now.
I think this kind of happens in a roundabout way, where when you get those early draft picks that get traded, I think that conversation already happens. So instead of just saying, hey, we have the third pick and we're taking this guy so we can trade him, I imagine it kind of goes the other way around where they're calling and being like, hey, what guy do you want at number 3? And like, we're going to take him. Let's just go ahead and swap the pick.
Go ahead and sway. Okay. All right. I could see that. Perhaps. I think there could be some lying right about there.
Oh, yeah. Somebody on draft day,
Yeah.
especially
Mhm.
Terry.
Yeah, we're gonna take Patrick Surtain at 10. Just kidding.
Well, see, hey, I don't think you can that far down. I think it's got to be in the top 5 where they could just say, "Hey, I want to get into the top 3 because I want this quarterback, and I know you're not drafting him." So
I want Trevor Lawrence, and you guys don't need a quarterback, so let's move up. All right, I got you.
Man, it sure does look like Justin Fields' draft stock has fallen.
Going down. Where is he? Like
Yeah.
5th now? Did Mac Jones pass him up yet?
Top 5 anymore. No, Mac Jones, I don't think is ahead of him.
They got Mac Jones still going in the first round, man. I'm saying,
yeah, but not top 10.
No,
he may go to New England. He may go to New England.
He might go to New Orleans.
Dude, he needs to go somewhere. Somebody needs to go to New Orleans.
He might go to I'm thinking New Orleans, Atlanta, maybe New England. I would have said the Bears, but I guess the Bears, they got it figured out. Or Carolina.
I don't think the Bears have anything figured out. I think they got the backup. They still don't know what's going on with Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky. I mean, what a mess, man. What a mess.
Foles is kind of like Fitzmagic. Now that you bring that up. How long he been in the league? And how many teams he been on? And like he's kind of a savior.
Yeah, I mean, Foles played for the Rams twice, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like on 2 separate occasions. Didn't they trade him? And then they were like, oops, my bad.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford was in that. Yeah, Sam Bradford was involved in that trade.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's how far back that
a little messed up. But okay, well, the Cowboy talk is going to be fun to watch with this the free agency stuff. Are y'all like glued to the TV like me? Are y'all on NFL Network, or where y'all getting y'all sources of this trade stuff? What alerts? JT on the Reddit, something else. He probably getting some alerts from some crazy.
Nah, I don't really do too much when it comes to draft talk, just because everybody's opinion is different, and then it never works out the way people be saying. So I just whatever.
Well, did you bet on whether or not Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first pick?
No, because the amount of money that I would need to bet to make any kind of good return is stupid.
Yeah. You got to bet $2,500 to make 100. I can do that. My luck, he wouldn't go first.
Oh gosh!
Some idiot to bet $100 would make $2,500. That's the way betting works in my house.
Well, look, guys. Well, let's take one more break, right? The short one.
Yep, we can
do come back and talk some Alabama basketball.
Mac Jones, the football team. You heard it here first.
Yep, and I'm interested to hear who you guys got going to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament. Let's do it.
All right.
Time inside your home, noticing all the little things needing attention? Let Repair Resource be your one trusted contractor to tackle all of your home repair needs. They do it all: electrical, plumbing, drywall, painting, and flooring of all types. They can even handle your exterior needs, like fencing, patio covers, concrete pads, and decking. No job too big or small, Repair Resource does it all. Call them at 972-415-1198 or visit them online at www.repair-resource.com.
Hey, this is IndyCar Tim. I want to talk to you about the Maverick Bar and Grill in Carrollton, Texas. It's North Dallas's premier sports bar and grill located at 1616 West Hebron Parkway. It's 16 minutes from just about anywhere in the DFW Metroplex. With all of the live action on dozens of TVs and the big screen, it's the place to hang out and watch the return of sports with all your friends. Friday and Saturday nights, you'll find the best live music in DFW right there at the Maverick Bar. And of course, on Thursday nights at 6 p.m., you'll find Teague's Take broadcasting live with Alabama and Cowboys legend George Teague. Come hang out and be part of the show. Check out the Maverick Bar and Grill in Carrollton, 972-492-7500, or on the web at themaverickbar.com. Welcome on back to Teague's Take. We've been talking a lot of football the last, hour or so. But let's get into something that has some importance, if in fact there is anything right now. And that, of course, George, JT, is March Madness. Everybody's going mad for March because we got robbed of this last year. As a matter of fact, I still have my shirt that I got from last year. It said March Sadness. I got a lot of comments on that shirt, too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, before we get going in this, well, one of y'all make sure that y'all create some kind of platform. I don't know which one y'all want to play, CBS or something, where we can compete with us three, Teague's Take, on our bracket. We don't have to put no money on it or anything like that, but we sure could put a drink on it.
I got a bracket on ESPN already. So if anybody's I can create that group.
Give us the invite. All right. Tim,
Yep.
you in?
Yep.
Okay, so let's do that. So let's talk about this. So I want to first let's talk about how. Well, I'm very excited about what Alabama has done, right, and where we're at, and how we're going. I give them big mad props, Coach Oates, for being able to do this kind of stuff. And I know JT and I talked about this a little bit this past weekend about how they live and die by the three and all this kind of stuff. But it's absolutely very amazing. What he's been able to do. So do you guys, and I don't know if you guys watch any of it, but as you're building your spreadsheet here, how far you guys think Alabama's going to get into this? How many rounds they're going to go?
You want me to go?
Sure.
I've got Alabama in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm. See,
Beating
my man.
Beating Michigan in the East.
What do you got? What do you got? Texas A&M going.
Yeah. That was just rude, George.
Couldn't resist. Man, it had me so nervous. Alabama had me so nervous in the game. Did you watch the LSU game?
Yes, I watched the game. I watched the game.
Man, were you scratching your head or what were you doing, JT? I mean, that was.
Well, I'll say this. I thought LSU had practiced basketball malpractice because there is no reason that Watford, like the last 6 minutes of the game, they should just gate a ball to Watford until everybody got out the way, because nobody was stopping him the entire time. And if they were going to stop him, Cam Thomas was just hitting everything anywhere. If he was anywhere near half court, he was nailing threes. So, I really kind of thought that LSU ended up kind of giving that game away at the end.
We coaches can outthink ourselves, because it's kind of like not handing Zeke the ball on the goal line, right? Or
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn
Girl
Lynch
about that, yeah.
the ball. You start to outthink yourself a little bit, and you're in crunch time. And I don't know. You're right. I don't know why I didn't have the ball, but. What do you got him finishing, JT?
Okay. So I got to give you a little backstory.
Okay. Here we go.
I was going to make 3 brackets. 2 of them were supposed to be like joke throwaway brackets because Alabama and Drake both made the tournament. So I was going to have one
Drake
with Alabama winning the whole thing, another one with Drake winning the whole thing, and then a real bracket. And so I made the first bracket and I had Alabama winning, and then I was going through and I made the second bracket, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna give Drake 2 games, but I can't reasonably have them beating Kansas. So
maybe
I went through the East portion of the bracket, and I actually had Michigan not making they
you don't have them in the Final Four?
No, I have Michigan losing in the round of 32 to LSU.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! This
I got LSU losing the St. Bonaventure.
This is getting good.
So because I did that, then I got to the matchup and I was like, all right, so I got Alabama, Florida State. And I was like, I think Alabama can beat Florida State. So they made it to the Final Four. But then here's where the dilemma kicked in. I was like, well, if they made it to the Final Four, I don't see why. I can't pick them to lose in the Final Four. So I put them in the final. And then once they were in the final, I was like, well, I can't pick them to lose now. So I have Alabama winning it because I'm going to pick my heart because I can't. It made sense that they could make it to the Final Four. I didn't think that was out of the question. But then just once I got him in there, yes, versus Gonzaga. And then I looked and I was like, okay, it's been forever and a day since any team has gone undefeated. So I was like, maybe this is just Gonzaga's luck runs out game and they lose.
So you're not rooting for them. You're not rooting for them to do the unthinkable.
I mean, I'm not rooting against. Well, I am rooting against them because I think they're going to play Alabama in the Final Four. So in that respect, I am rooting against them. But I'm not hoping that they can't, that they don't do it. It's so hard to do, and I just don't see this being the year that it happens. There's so many. So many unknowns, so many games that haven't been played.
Tell us because now you got me all confused on which bracket we're actually talking about. Are we still talking about a mythical bracket, the other bracket?
No, we're talking about my real bracket. The bracket that I have entered into different groups has Alabama winning it because even I had to put money on the line, and it deep down in my heart, I know that Alabama's probably not winning the tournament. Once they got to the Final Four, I could not pick them to lose.
Give me the Final Four in your good bracket.
Gonzaga, Alabama,
okay.
Baylor, Houston.
Oh,
wow. Okay, where you at, Tim, on this? Man, who you got winning it all? He say he's taking Bama to win it all. I don't expect.
No, I said they'd make the Final Four.
Okay, so who did you tell me? Who your Final Four?
My Final Four is very, very boring, other than Alabama, because it's all one seeds. Got Baylor and Illinois, and then, of course, Gonzaga and Alabama.
Yeah, I do have another the Yahoo bracket because it did vary a little bit. I did pick Illinois over Houston. So,
and then I got Gonzaga, Baylor winning it all. Gonzaga is going to be the Patriots of 07. They're going to get to that very last game of the year, and then they're going to take. I think Baylor's athleticism is going to beat out over everybody, especially Gonzaga.
So, I think, and I'm of course I'm with JT with some of what my heart says. Hey, Alabama go win this thing. But I don't think that will happen. Do I think they could get into the Final Four? Yes, but I'm not picking them to go into the Final Four. I think that they lose to Michigan. I'm just worried. I can't get past our do or die by our. And I talked to some basketball people, and I'm trying to because Alabama scares me so much with the three ball or the quick.
They play great defense though.
They do
play good defense.
And so I learned some stuff, and my opinion may change by Thursday. But because someone started talking to me about something I never really thought about for basketball, but the points per possession deal, and saying how good Alabama's points per possession is compared to other people's things. So he's kind of swaying me to saying that they definitely should be in the Final Four. Well, I was going to have them in the Sweet 16, and then losing. But I may change that. But I got Gonzaga being in the Final Four. I have Baylor in the Final Four. This one will get you. I have Oklahoma State.
Ooh.
Being in the Final Four.
Bold.
Well, that's what we do, man. We say how it is, right? And I'm going to go ahead and put Alabama in the Final Four too. So that'll be Gonzaga, Alabama, Baylor, Oklahoma State. So I got 2 number 1s, a number 2, and a 4.
Wow.
It'll be interesting to hear what people got to say about that one, huh? That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I wrote a nice little article over there at DSP Media Online, and it went out to CowboysSI.com about the brackets and Gonzaga versus Baylor. And I mentioned 2 teams that could give Gonzaga a fit out of all the bracket defensively, and it was Baylor and it was Alabama. And I think, man, Alabama's got a great defense, and they're literally one of the few teams that could cause problems for Gonzaga on defense. But again, in the Final Four, Gonzaga's not going to lose to Alabama or anybody else. They make it that far.
Okay.
Well, you got any of the run of the mill bracket tips for those who just want to make a bracket but don't know all the teams?
I would go based on uniform colors.
Well, okay. That's good. So let me ask you this, and we'll come back to that, JT. But I want to know, what are these 5-12 matchups? There's always supposedly supposed to be some kind of upset, or
there's always one.
Yeah. So which one are you? Which tip are we saying that? I guess Creighton wins, right? On that side
I was torn on this one, and partially it's because I have a deep, burning hatred for Creighton.
So you don't want because you played there, but I thought you were about to say not that you played there, but they were someone.
Yeah, they used to be in the conference.
Yes. Or is it the coach that you don't like with the new shenanigans he has going on? I thought what Doug McDermott said was just unfortunate. I don't think there was any malice behind it. But putting that aside, I didn't like Doug McDermott before. I didn't like his son before, and I didn't like the school before. So, just nothing about Creighton makes me happy. It makes me furious. So I really wanted to pick UC Santa Barbara. But every time I pick against Creighton to lose in an upset, they always win. So I stopped doing it. Okay. So my 5-12, I'm taking Georgetown to beat Colorado.
Oh, wow.
I shouldn't be telling you my bracket before we actually.
No, I didn't. I couldn't go that far. I thought it was a bridge too far. I picked Winthrop to beat Villanova.
I've got Oral Roberts over Ohio State.
Really?
Yeah. I think Ohio State.
We got to up this bidding process right here, man. Oh Lordy. Okay. Man, so you're one of those guys that right after the first day, when you get that alert, is your bracket busted? You got to go fill out a new one.
I go cry a little bit and have a beer, and then I pour out a beer from my bracket. And
all right, well, we'll see how it goes, man. So, wasn't there some games on tonight? In the play-in games tonight?
Thursday.
The play-in games are Thursday.
Yeah, the first round starts on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Oh well, then I got time then. All right.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, JT, make sure you send those things out to us so we can have a little fun with that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'll put what are we putting on it? Shot or something?
Sure. We'll figure it out.
Did you want to open this up to the public, or did you just wanted to?
No, just us three.
Okay.
Just us three. Or you want to invite some? You want to?
I don't know. I mean, you can make it a public group, and just anybody who wants to join can join.
Well, let's do it then. You know what? We can start promoting it. Send me a link. Let's have some fun with it. What'd you think, Tim? 2 minutes? Because how many people you can have in there? When you got a big old group with those brackets, you can probably have unlimited people come in. Huh?
The more, the merrier.
Yeah.
All right. So let's invite the public, and then just between us, the best finish by whatever point system you have on it. Winner gets a bottle of something, no more than $40.
Dr. Pepper? Oh, you were going.
I mean that qualifies, right? That's
your choice of it, so I don't get to pick it. But is that fair to y'all? That fair to y'all?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's do it then. Let's do it.
I mean,
Well, I think that's all we got for tonight, guys. I think it's been great, man. I really enjoyed Dio coming on. It was really good to really reconnect with him again and just to talk with him and then be able to talk. There's so much news going on in the athletic world right now. Good Lord. I don't know. Maybe I'm just excited because free agency is here and, more football talk and, basketball's kicking in. Like you said, no more March sadness. It's great just to be able to watch them play. So I'm overjoyed in this athletic world right about now.
Yeah, normally this is the worst time of the season, the worst time of the calendar year for sports. March Madness hadn't really started. We ain't got no football. Baseball hadn't started. I know basketball and hockey are playing, but who really cares about that?
Hey, man, there's NBA talk. There's a lot of NBA talk going on, too, because, we got an NBA person, former NBA person,
yeah,
within a month as well. So, it's going to be interesting to see because, I want to hear what you guys got to say about that, man. Who's going to win this championship in the NBA sooner or later? That's getting real interesting.
It's going to be the Mavericks.
What?
It ain't going to be the Mavericks.
Did you see JT's face?
No, I thought he said it's going to be the Mavericks. And I was like, aren't they a 500 ball club?
I thought that's what he said.
No, it ain't going to be the Mavericks.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
It was supposed to be the Mavericks.
King James ain't getting in the way. So
I know what's happening right now.
All right, last question before you go. To Craig, I'm going to answer this, then we can get out of here. What was your favorite stadium to play in?
The Vet.
Absolutely not. I haven't broke a foot on the Vets on their field without even touching anybody. Just planting, snap my toe bone. I'll probably make some people mad with this, I guess, or whatnot. But there are a couple places that were really, really fun to play in, right? One was the Denver Broncos Stadium.
Mile High.
Yes, Mile High is very, very cool. Be able to play there, the flyovers and just the way they cheer and all that kind of stuff. Playing in Green Bay, the fans there are nuts. It's just the fun. It's cold, but it is college football. Period. Lots of drinking, lots of just cheering, and that is probably one of the best places that you could ever play. And then the last one, I really enjoyed playing in Kansas City as well, the Chiefs. So there you go, man. That's my one question or my answer for you, Craig. Appreciate you.
There you go. Craig couldn't find us on Facebook, and he thought he got blocked, so he messaged me and I had to say, no, you got to go find us on YouTube tonight.
Yeah, that was all on me for all the listeners. Something I did in my Facebook settings, I guess. I'll get it squared away here.
Yep, it's easy to fix.
Yep. So,
all right. Well, very good. That'll be this show. We want to thank our sponsors, of course, the Cowboy House, Cowboys SI, Profound Sites, the Maverick Bar Repair Resource. Did I say Profound Sites? I already lost where I was. But all those great boys, we appreciate their support for this show and helping us along and supporting George and everybody. And next week, George, on the docket, guest.
Yes. Corey Cooksey, the first female to referee a state championship game and the UIL, will be on with us next week. I'm really looking forward to seeing her and talking to her, and it's going to be good. I don't know her. I have not met her. I have not really even talked to her except via email because I got her information from the referee association when we were trying to find our first and things to look for. So celebration of this month of women. It'll be good to have her on and hear her story and see how all that played out and how it went.
Very good. All right. Well, for George and JT, I'm IndyCar Tim. And until next week, you guys stay safe.
Big sight. New. Hank. Big sight. Y'all know how this shit go. All eyes on me.
Roll up in the club and shit.
All eyes on me.